the way I see it.
Definitely, it's always a delight to have you join us on this lovely political program. It's a discussion that gives us opportunity to bring on board seasoned politicians. Now, not just seasoned politicians, we have people who have hearts to take over the baton of leadership in Edo State come 2024. Welcome to Edo Decide. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebame. Of course, I'm your host, and today we have the honor of having with us live here in the studio someone who wants to make Edo better and Edo great again. His name is ANSELM OJEZUA. He was born in Ibadan on the 18th of July 1959 to Mr. R.M. OJEZUA, MFR, and Princess B.L. OJEZUA, both of blessed memory. ANSELM's early education started at Emotan Preparatory School, Benin City, from 1963 to 1969. From there to the Immaculate Conception College from 1970 to 1974. Thereafter, he taught at St. Stephen Primary School, Benin City, until he was offered admission to the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, to study law. Now, he graduated with an LLB Honors degree in 1980. The same year, he was admitted into the Nigerian Law School, Victoria Island, Lagos. From there, where he was called to the Nigerian bar as a barrister at law of the Supreme Court of Nigeria way back 1981. What a resume. Now, ANSELM was posted to Rivers State for the National Youth Service Corps program, where he served his father's land, and his primary assignment was with the 2 Amphibious Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt as the brigade lawyer. All right, to show that he actually have heart for education, at the end of the service year, he returned to Benin City to join the law firm of Jim Ahere and Co., where he had his intern while in law school. Now, during the period, he was currently or concurrently engaged in political activities, greatly inspired by his maternal uncle, Prince Goswill Shaka Mamadou. In the same year of 1982, while on a visit to Port Harcourt, his political profile was boosted when he was co-opted to serve on the gubernatorial nomination committee set up by the defunct National Party of Nigeria, NPN, for the Rivers State chapter of the party. Now, immediately thereafter, he was drafted to coordinate Senator Uba's campaign for the office of the National Secretary of the National Party of Nigeria. Now, upon the success of that campaign, he was appointed as a special assistant to the National Secretary. In 1984, after the military coup by General Muhammad Buhari, which ousted Alhaji Shehu Shagari from office as president of Nigeria, ANSELM relocated to Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to join the prominent law firm of Okocha and Okocha, barristers and solicitors, founded by OCJ Okocha, senior advocate of Nigeria. There he was exposed to a wide range of legal services. Now, he also served at different capacity, both at the state and national level, which time may not allow us to dive into. Welcome to the program, and glad to have you, ANSELM OJEZUA. Did I get that correctly? Usiose.
Yes.
Okay, all right. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be with you.
Edolites are listening. Nigerians are waiting. You want to be on the race. What's your motivating factor to start with?
My motivating factor really is service to mankind, service to the community, my passion to make things better for our people.
Okay.
I think that there are a few things we can do a little better to make people feel a lot better.
Okay. So how do you plan to address the key economic challenges facing Edolites? Now, with specific policy, what policy do you have in mind if you have been given the opportunity?
The fundamental objective would be to try and create an economy for our state. By create an economy, I mean a productive economy. At the moment, sadly, we are yet not in production. Okay. You know, some of us believe that even when we produce, we still have the misfortune of being guided that you can export your produce in its raw form.
Definitely.
And if you do that and you pretend that you want to create jobs, I think you are living in a fool's paradise. Because it is the processing of the produce that actually creates the jobs.
That's true.
It adds value to whatever it is that you produce. And therefore that puts you up there in the global sphere. As it is now, we are not even there. Edo State is particularly in bad shape in the sense that even the food we eat comes from different parts of the country. For instance, the yams we eat comes from the north. The maize comes from the north. Virtually everything.
The beans.
The livestock.
The fruits.
Chicken comes from the west. Eggs from the west. We produce a little bit, but certainly not enough. So I always give this example, Zatek. They have so much, a very huge market here, but they don't produce one chicken in Edo. Everything comes from Ibadan.
So how do we now move from consumption to production in Edo State? Because we have vast land.
We have to face it frontally.
Okay, how?
The first one is to, first of all, discard this obsolete technology of farming, which we call subsistence farming. For me, subsistence farming is an insult. Subsistence farming means farming to survive. But today, farming really ought to be big business. So the first thing to do is to change the way our people farm. There need to be a lot of orientation, and it has to be done in a practical way. We just have to find a way to create farms, use people to start this process, to let people know that this thing can work, and when it works, it can be very, very, very productive and resourceful. You know, so when you see somebody boasting that he has 2 acres, 10 plots of land, he's farming 10 plots of land, he boasts about it. That cannot even feed him for 2 months. But if he has 5 hectares, then he's talking good money. How do we do that? We can create an atmosphere. You know those days when Action Group was in power, we were part of our Western region, and then they created farm settlements. We can do improved versions
of farm settlement program.
Like that, yes. Okay. For instance, federal government built a dam somewhere in Ukun, around Ekbobo. Never been used.
Since it was built.
The university, Ambrosali University, they have a dam surrounded by 400 hectares of land, never been used. Ovia has vast area of land, hardly used.
So are you saying food security is going to be one of your major priorities?
It is going to be the major plank of our effort.
Because
we are going to be talking about food, we are going to be talking about agro-processing.
Because to an extent, an average Nigerian feels that politicians, in quotes, have a way of weaponizing people with poverty and hunger. With that, they just have their way. So are you saying your government, if given the opportunity to come on board, will do the best for them and change the narrative? Is that what you're saying?
You know, when you talk about making people, you know, did you say weaponizing poverty?
With hunger, yes.
Yes, that is the most. It's a very reprehensive way to look at, you know, political this thing. A politician wants to add value to the life. I always tell people,
genuine politician.
The difference between a politician and a businessman is a businessman thinks of how much profit he makes from any transaction. A politician talks about how much he has added to the life of somebody. So when you hear some people say, do you know how much I spent? That's a businessman talking.
In politics.
A politician.
A businessman in politics.
Yes. A politician is the one, he doesn't care the cost, provided he gives solace and succor to people. So when you talk about this poverty, I think there is something wrong with the way we look at things. You know, you really can't blame somebody who is not, like I keep saying, you can't continue to do the same thing over and over again and you're expecting a different result. We just have to change the way we do things. Number one, we have to have a policy that nothing can leave this state in its raw form, even when we produce. So how do we do that? We go into processing. If we have cocoa, why do we export cocoa beans? Why can't we, even cocoa powder, why can't we process it? What stops us from creating chocolates and let others come and buy? In a world where you now have a situation where
from Edo State.
Yes. You now have a situation where food is being adulterated with all kinds of chemical content. We have possibilities of organic production, which is the most attractive food anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Provided they are convinced that we have met world standards.
Okay.
So it depends on how we package it or how we prepare ourselves for it.
Well, no,
we just have to do something about it.
Okay, now, no doubt you have a very good ambition for the people of Edo State. Yes. But however, the crack-up in PDP, most especially the Legacy Group and that of the Obaseki Group, what are your intentions? Is it not going to affect your ambition? Looking at the crack-up in the party currently.
You know, that is one of the reasons why I feel I'm in a vantage position to be the best option for them.
How?
Because I know them all. I am close to them. The governor is a friend of mine. We've worked together quite well.
Okay.
And we have made commitments to one another in the past. Chief Danobi is a politician that I respect so well. I've known him for several years. We don't have a problem. Okay. Even when we had different political views and opinions, we maintained our friendship. That is what politics is about. It's about people. You see, these are people that I have known over time. We have learned to trust ourselves. And you know, when you give your word, people must be able to take it for what it is, for what you say. A man's word is his bond. And that has been the basis of my life.
Okay.
My integrity means so much to me, and I am lucky that I have maintained my relationships. And this is one of those times when I have to draw down on my goodwill. I have gone round. I have met with a lot of them.
You've made consultations.
I have made consultations, and these issues you've just raised are issues that we have discussed, and we are all in agreement that they are not insurmountable, they are not insoluble. It's just the attitude. That is what is our problem.
Okay.
Everybody is taking extreme positions. Whereas, you know, politics is about persuasion, it's about negotiation, it's about dialogue.
Okay.
Let's have a discussion. What is it? What are we struggling for? Like in a local parlance, we say, who take first, not they take second.
Definitely.
Railway, they fall for goat house, they fall for fowl house.
Okay.
So let us get down, sit down. What is the problem? And what are the solutions?
Okay.
If we all sit down and make it collective, we will find solutions. That shouldn't be a problem.
But some stakeholders in Edo Central, they've been trying to see how they can come to a consensus and have one candidate. And well, from other parties, we've seen them go around. They met recently and have a pool of lists or names per se. You are from that extraction, and your name wasn't there. Aren't you worried?
I think the set of people you are talking about are those who have done it for APC. I'm not in APC. I'm in PDP.
Well, we wouldn't know if it is APC or PDP.
APC. I think they said APC.
Okay.
Because first of all, you cannot sit down and do such an exercise in limbo. It must be predicated on a platform.
Okay.
You know, this is an intra-party thing. For anybody to say they have done a dispassionate job, is there any politician who does not have an interest or even a motive? It's difficult, you know, to say that. I don't think that the approach of sitting down to do such an exercise should be subjective. If they want to do it, then it must be more inclusive. Okay. It has to involve the leadership, even at the lowest level. Otherwise, it will be nothing but a jamboree. Now,
Edo State is blessed with so many natural resources, oil, gas, name it. But yet we can't stand side by side with other Niger Delta states. How do you plan to change this trajectory?
Well, what plagues Edo actually plagues a lot of other states.
To an extent,
particularly
they are kind
Delta.
of ahead of force.
well, you may say that Bayelsa, Rivers, and Delta State, they are better positioned because they have so much more resources available to them.
Okay.
So much more. But the truth about it is we have to acquire the attitude of an orphan. An orphan is a person who cannot afford to fail because he has nothing, you know. That is the attitude we must adopt here. The good news is that we have resources and we are the best, we are about the best positioned state in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, studies have shown that of the 200 and something million people in Nigeria, about 70 million surround Edo, which is a ready market. All we need to do is to create a situation where we begin to produce. We need to be in production.
Okay.
We need to be in processing. We need to have something to show both nationally and internationally, even when the need arises. The big news or the good news is that Nigeria is a populous country and it has a lot of resources. A lot of importation that we do is paid for even before the goods are brought in. Okay. It's not as if they are bringing it on credit. So there is resources. If you produce here, people will rather buy from you than import.
Okay, now,
so we need to just change our direction. That's all.
Talking about production and importation, what are your plans? Food insecurity is something that is actually affecting us too from this axis. And if we have the ability to produce and we are not producing, insecurity is one of the issues that is hampering food production in the state. What will you do as the #1 citizen of the state?
You see, thankfully, a lot of work already has been done by Obaseki's administration in regards to our local security. As a matter of fact, the regular security agencies have been quite stretched. Yeah, they are plagued by their own problems. The first one being inadequate numbers.
Manpower.
Yes, inadequate. When the president announced that some time ago, President Buhari, that he was approving 10,000 extra policemen, I was asking if it was 10,000 per state. A country of 200 and something million, how many policemen? Out of the number of policemen, how many are doing VIP tasks? And then what is left for those on the streets? So already, even before you start to look at it, they are already inadequate. They are poorly kitted, they are poorly funded, their conditions of service is nothing to write home about. Okay. You know, so all the ingredients for failure is already endemic. So
what will we now do to now address the security
I cannot do
architecture?
anything about that. Luckily, they have allowed that we should have some local arrangement by which our people can look after their own people.
Okay.
So in that regards, we have the Edo Security Network. All we need to do now is to try and continue to see how we can improve the activities of these people. The thing to add is that we have to begin to up their capacity. I think some basic training has been done, but I think we can do a lot more. Another thing is that we need to come up with a policy. I am one of those who believe that any Nigerian or anybody for that matter from anywhere in the world should be welcome in Edo. Okay. But they should learn to live amongst the people. Having people in the bush amongst whom are people who go and foray to ensure that our people can no longer farm is totally unacceptable.
Okay.
And we need to begin to sensitize all those involved to say, look, come and live amongst us, but it will be where we reside.
It should be on our terms.
Nobody should be in the bush. If you are in the bush, you become a suspect, and you will be treated as such. And you know, we need to take a lot more steps to ensure that such a... Because if there are threats of that nature and magnitude, then even government policy will fail.
Okay, let me quickly take you back, as time is not always our friend on this show.
Yes.
It's been a wonderful time anyway. Let's go back to party policy now. Before now, there have been this clamor for power shift to Edo Central before now. And all of a sudden, most political parties, they are not talking about that again. It seems that drum or agitation for power shift. It's not what we are hearing now. It seems it's going to be an open ticket for the best candidate. Won't that affect your chances?
You see, the thing about it is that those who seek equity do so in good faith. It's understandable. When you consider the power of a governor and whatever achievements they're able to make, and in the course of making those achievements, the tendency to take care of areas where they come from is also there. And then when you consider that a part of the state has been left out of the equation
for a while,
for so long, of course, people become restive.
Okay.
But as understandable as that may be, the way you conduct your agitation is more important than the agitation itself. You see, like I told you, I said politics.
Take that again. That's the sense in what you just said.
Yes, I said the way you conduct your agitation is more important than the agitation itself.
Definitely.
Because I told you a minute ago, I said politics is about persuasion and negotiation. This is not the first time we have had a situation. Edo North, there was once they were clamoring. I was one of those who supported that we should look for somebody in Edo North.
And it went there.
Yes, and it went there. And we know how we did it. We didn't have to do screening. They didn't have to agitate like, you know. Okay. It was by man to man, man talk to. I told you, I said, when I was carrying out my consultation, I met with people. The basis of my aspiration is not where I come from.
Okay.
The basis of my aspiration is what I have to offer the state. So you can call me a Benin boy who happens to come from Ishan. And that is an advantage for me because I'm proudly Ishan and I am a beneficiary of the Benin community.
Okay.
So to that extent, that is part of, you know, what will help me to become governor of Edo State. So I think that we need to continue to talk about it, but in a way that our brothers in Edo South and Edo North can understand that it is only fair. And to be honest with you, in my discussion around, there seems to be a consensus on the matter.
To an extent?
To a large extent.
Okay.
To a very large extent. Okay. I think they are very, very understanding.
Well, we would like to have a second version of this discussion as we've actually run out of time. Okay. All right. We'd like to have you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
ANSELM OJEZUA. It's always a pleasure having you on set. Well, this is how far we can go on the program Edo the Side. We'll be seeing you again on the next one. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebame. Do have a blessed week ahead and bye for now.